Hi, we're here with Ezra Furman. Welcome. So you described your last EP as the end of a chapter musically. What makes these new songs so different?
Well, the band known as Ezra Furman and the Boyfriends was a band with a specific mission. We fulfilled it.
What was that mission?
The mission was to be a punk soul garage band, and to be really good at it. And at our best, we were really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, we played good shows. We had moments of like a sort of bleary-eyed transcendence and like pure enthusiasm and sort of purity of manic energy and rage that is one side of what rock and roll means to me. We did it. We were a great rock and roll band.
So the new album is called Transangelic Exodus.
Correct.
What does that mean?
Well, there's a condition, transangelicism, which as I'm sure you've heard is a human being growing wings and turning into an angel, or sort of manifesting that they've always been an angel by growing wings.
Yeah.
And naturally, these people are distrusted by a lot of, they think it's thought to be maybe a disease or some kind of threat to the integrity of the human race. And so there's people who want to quarantine them, even though it's not a contagious thing. It's not a threat to anyone.
Yeah.
But people get stigmatized for their bodies and for their differences.
Yeah.
And then those people become very vulnerable.
Lyrically, what's the message you're trying to get across with this album?
No message.
No message at all?
Actually, there's one political part on the album,
Yeah.
which is the end of the first song, Suck the Blood from My Wound. The line is a line from William Shakespeare, and it is a plague on both your houses. That's my statement in the political arena. A plague on both your houses, which is it's a phrase spoken by Mercutio as he's dying, because he wasn't even part of the fight. He was just someone who got dragged into it, and he wasn't angry at anybody. He didn't want to take any sides. He didn't have this tribal affiliation. He just was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he got killed. And I see that happening. I see that happening throughout human history, and especially right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes I fear like it might happen to me, because I got caught between two houses, if you see what I'm saying. Two warring factions that I'm not on either side.
You don't play on Friday nights for religious reasons, do you?
That's right.
Is that a problem as a musician, or?
Is it a problem? Well, it was a bigger problem to play on Friday nights for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose I realized that it's essential to my survival, basically as a human being, to have one day each week dedicated to the spirit, to the essence of things, to take a break from trying to conquer the world, trying to change the world, trying to make it bend to my will, as I do all day long, all week long, and have one day where I just let the world be what it is and appreciate it and don't try to change a thing about it.
As a gender fluid musician in Trump's America, has it been harder to exist as a musician for you in that time period when he's been in power?
So far, only the fear has really touched my actual life.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Trump hasn't really enacted any significant legislation thank goodness. I mean, the significant things, I think the most significant thing is sort of the way he's influenced the conversation about vulnerable people and, you know, how much we welcome immigrants, etc. What is an acceptable or mainstream position to have on really any non-white population?
Yeah. You've been quite vocal about your opinions, especially on stage. At Coachella this year, you ended your set by saying "fuck AEG." Do you want to explain to the viewers why you did that?
Why fuck AEG? AEG is the Anschutz Exploration Group, which owns Golden Voice, which puts on Coachella, right? By going to Coachella, if you pay to go there, or you participate in it, as I did, you're kind of helping line the pockets of billionaires who, you know, you have a say in whether that person stays rich. You don't make the decision. Philip Anschutz, who owns AEG, is probably going to stay rich no matter what I do. I would never pay to go to that event. I really would never pay to go, and I don't think that people should.
Do you think that...
I did take the money, though. I did get paid.
Yeah.
And that's... Where does that leave me, you know? Well, it leaves me able to pay the rent and keep playing music, so...
Speaking about one of your heroes, Chuck Berry, died earlier this year.
Chuck Berry died.
How did that make you feel?
I have to admit, he was probably one of the best songwriters of the 20th century. A huge influence on me. You could overlook, the main thing about Chuck Berry is that, he invented rock and roll, sort of, or kind of bolstered it and, gave it a lot of its ingredients, like songs about cars and girls and school and teenage stuff, and that he plays guitar and he's got a certain sound. And then you might overlook that he's an amazing lyric writer, you know? And the thing that drives those songs is actually the rhythm of the lyrics. That more than as much as the band gives it its driving rhythm. So that's an amazing musical thing to realize, and that's when I think a song of mine like "Tell 'Em All to Go to Hell" is based on that principle. The words actually push the song along and make you feel like the song's out of control with manic energy. It bears mentioning that, as with a lot of heroes, you gotta reckon with their disastrous, ethical violations. And Chuck Berry had his share of those, which are very disturbing to know about. And it kind of makes you want to stop praising him so much. And it leaves me, I just feel in an ethically ambiguous place. But the fact is, he's dead. And the next, the people whose shows I will pay to get into are hopefully not going to be sexual predators.
Do you think that the music industry is doing enough to combat those fears of sexual assault and issues like that?
Probably not. You see sometimes a good response to it, and sometimes not. I think I don't know that it's fair to really talk about the music industry as if it's a character or a person. It's just a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Either enabling or enacting misogyny, or opposing it, or being the victim of it. And is in like every corner of society. It's I'm really glad that so many people are talking about sexual assault, because it's like a scourge. It's like a scourge on humanity that people are usually are just like, well, it happens. It's not the best, but I guess what can you do? And it's like, well, you can replace all those people. Get them out, you know? Just stop going to those movies. Don't buy the records. There's plenty of other people whose voices have been suppressed, sometimes by those same misogynist forces.
Iggy Pop has said that he's a massive fan of you. Have you ever met him?
I have not met Iggy Pop. Iggy, I would like to meet you.
Would you like to collaborate with him?
I would love to. Sure, of course. He was sort of talking like he made his last album. That's what he's. But like people say that a lot, and then you're like, well, but I have an idea.
Here's another one.
And I feel like Iggy Pop might have some more ideas. Yeah, he played a couple of songs on his radio show by my old band, by some songs that I put out in I think 2008.
Yeah.
By Ezra Furman and the Harpoons, and I just like I flipped out. to hear him say something like.
So maybe on a future record we could hear a Ezra Furman Iggy Pop collaboration, maybe.
That would be such a dream.
Yeah.
Such a dream.
So the new album, Transangelic Exodus, is out in February. Where do you hope it takes you as an artist?
I want to make the greatest record ever made. That's like the only thing I can think about. It's like, and if not that, a record better than any record I've made before. And I think this record is that. Like I think it's like it's alive to me. It's more alive to me than anything I've made in the past.
Do you think it is? Do you think you have created the greatest record ever made with this one?
No, I haven't.
But
I'm
close.
certain that I haven't, because you just mentioned Iggy Pop, and he made Raw Power and Lust for Life, and those records are better than mine. But
You're getting there.
I'm onto something, and maybe we don't need to choose a greatest whatever ever whatever, but you know, it's still a lot easier to make a bad record than a good one. I think we made a good one.
Thank you so much, Ezra Furman, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and good luck.
Oh, thanks.